All right, so right off the bat, I just want to start by saying that this is not clickbait. All right, I will be showing you a picture or a set of pictures of the same thing that prove without a shadow of a doubt 100% that what is being sprayed out the back of these planes is not a contrail. A regular is not condensation. It is obviously some sort of substance. So I just want to start, you know, by saying, okay, I'm 40 years old, and I think that everyone can agree that the most vivid memories of one's life are of their childhood, things that happened when they were younger. And for me, one of these things was, you know, contrails, believe it or not. Um, I'm a sky watcher, always have been, always was looking up, loved airplanes, all that stuff growing up. All right. So, you know, whenever a contrail was, this would be this guy here on the left. This is what I remember, right? Whenever I'd see one of these, everything had to stop. It was all I cared about. I, watched it the whole way. It was like an event for me. Always wondering, is this going to be the one that actually stays a little bit longer, right? And sure enough, every time you thought it was, going to stay, it would disappear, just like this, right? It would never get any longer, ever, ever, right? Um, you know, it wasn't until 2005 for me that I really started to notice a difference. Obviously, they were, spraying before that. I think there was an adjustment period with some people where you just don't notice it at first, or they haven't sprayed your area yet, right? Before they really started to go at it. Um, in, I would say, the early 2000s, around there, late 90s. So, anyway, I just wanted to show this picture because just the idea that, okay, this guy, right, because they're kind of in the same airspace here. This is obviously lower than this one here, than this guy way up here, right? Obviously. But so way up here where, condensation trails are supposed to form, ice crystals, right? And look at how short it is. I mean, I know we're dealing with perspective here, and this one is further away, but it disappears right away, right? It never gets any longer than this. So what makes anyone think that it would, you go down to this low altitude here and it's gonna all of a sudden stay and get bigger and not disappear? It just, it blows my mind, and how, there's so many people out there that remember a sky without these disgusting things in it, right? And even those people are like, oh yeah, it's just, regular condensation, completely normal to have giant, you know, squares and X's and checkerboard patterns, and it's completely normal. So anyway, let's get to these are my pictures anyway that I'm going to show that I've taken. I've been taking pictures of chemtrails for 12 years now. All right. I've lost a whole bunch. Okay. I had a laptop that fried and lost a bunch of pictures. So these are from the last couple years, anyway, these ones, and I've got some interesting ones. I just wanted to get everyone's opinion and thoughts uh, uh, and share my ideas because, there's some interesting things going on with some of these pictures. So let's start here. For me, it's the altitude. Like, I know chemtrails are obviously being sprayed at lower than what they should naturally be forming at, but this just seems even lower. Like, I'm not an expert on anything here, but this feels like 15,000, maybe even lower, right? So I'd like someone out there to what is your opinion on the altitude of these things? Because it sure isn't 30,000 feet, right? It's way lower than that. And this is all Greater Vancouver area. Okay, you can see. I just started this one here. This is one plane, by the way. Did these, right? The idea that this is just normal airspace travel, like they just anyway. All right, so I think that was it for those ones, but these are low altitude I wanted to show and short. Okay, see, these seem extremely low too. There's gaps in them. They're starting to spray at weird angles, right? Do you notice? I mean, and like I said before, I know I'm dealing with a perspective thing, and like something can appear a lot, closer to me than it actually is, but it just feels like you can just reach out and touch these things, right, and grab them. I mean, and they're like short trails, right? Like being done on purpose, these short ones to kind of mimic clouds, I guess, right? With breaks in them. But again, look at the altitude of them. They just, to me, they look really low. So if anyone out there has any idea exactly what this, I mean, I know it's not 30,000 feet or 25 or 20. I know it isn't. It can't be. All right. Um, okay. So now these next ones here, uh, we live right by a BC hydro power plant, I guess you would call it, right? And I've captured pictures before of frequencies being like, it looks like a frequency has been emitted within the cloud, right? And you could kind of see it. But that's what I'm talking about here. It looks like frequency pattern, but I've never really seen anything quite like this one before. This, as you can see, the entire sky has been like whited out, right? And it's not any particular cloud that has a pattern in it. It just looks like it's throughout the entire sky, right? See? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Any thoughts or ideas, please let me know. Okay. Can't really talk to anybody else about it. Okay, that's what the internet is for. Everyone looks at you like you have a third eye, right? When you talk about this. See? The ripples in the sky. Like I highly doubt you would be able to see this effect if it wasn't completely saturated in chemtrail activity, which it always is now, and that day specifically. And this is the last one here. You can faintly see it, right? Okay, so this brings us to the the chemtrail that proves it all, right? This one here, I like at first when I first took this picture. This was it right here, and it's just obviously a chemtrail, but regular, right? And I was like, okay, let's get a better view of it. And what ends up happening is I end up capturing this guy basically turning on his spray nozzle, right? Like I capture that moment basically, and you can clearly see, right, that what we see here is not regular condensation at all. It can't be. It's impossible, right? It's not ice crystals right? Being formed when, you know, the hot air or the hot exhaust meets the cold. That is not what is happening here. Okay, and here we go. All right, now I'm going to get closer. Okay. Let's go with, let's see, this one, and then, all right, so there you go. First, you'll notice the stringy nature of it. All right. It almost seems to bend down here too, like it's showing that it has weight. All right. Obviously, not ice crystals from, you know, water vapor condensing and freezing. That's not what's happening here, right? And it's two trails in one, as you can see, right? And you know, it's not like, look at the hard breaks in the trail, right there, right there, right there, and then of course, as this is where he basically turns it on. And if you look really close at these ones, I know it's going to be harder for you guys, but this is really the best I can do. They're almost circular, right? And it's clogged or something, right? He's having trouble getting this thing going, right? And you know, there is no explanation, but I guess if you were a debunk artist, right? Well, these spaces are from air currents, right? But that's obviously not what's happening, and that quickly blows up in your face because right beside this trail is this other one. All right, this isn't from another plane or anything like that, right? Obviously, this is some sort of chemtrail they're spraying. Basically, it's like 2-in-1, right? 2-for-1 special chemtrail. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And this one, whatever is coming out of that second nozzle that he's spraying, right? Like it's going as this one breaks, right? There's the break, but this other one right beside it's still going. So, right there you have it. This is it, 100%, right? That this is not water vapor condensing and freezing, 100%. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Bye.